Listen, I have to update you because entrepreneurship has changed for me so much in the last year, and I'm going to debrief it in this video. I'm going to break it down, what I'm seeing across the board as a retention marketing firm owner of 10 years, have got my clients 31.9 million to date in revenue, worked with 257 plus different businesses and counting in real estate, finance, e-commerce, DNA, science, education, technology, school districts, all of the things. Pretty much any industry you can think of, I have worked in it as a marketing specialist in some capacity, from ads to organic marketing and ongoing podcasts, all of the things. But here's what I'm seeing, because marketing has changed. The online business industry has changed. The service industry has changed. Number one, let's start with a few differentiators in types of services. So historically, my business is a service provider business. We do not sell courses. We do not sell programs like that. We sell services. And then we can have group intensives that are a hybrid of a service and curriculum support. Okay, so it's very service-based. It's very much white glove, very clear requirements, very clear, this is what you're getting, this is the deliverable. Okay, I'm saying that right now in the service-based industry, there's such a pivot in the market because one, you have the experience economy where people are making millions right now online through their experience. What do I mean? Historically in 2018 or even as far back as 2016, people would have like generic marketing advice and they would make millions from it. Well, we're kind of over that stage. It's now 2026, heading into 2027. People know the generic funnels. They know the generic webinar. They know, okay, great, I've seen these things. I know if I get on a free webinar, you're going to pitch me at the end. Or people don't even listen to webinars anymore. People are kind of over the summits. People aren't doing the summits as much. If it's free, they'll do it. If it's paid, they're kind of like, I guess. It's just feeling like another thing that they have to tack on. So what I'm saying is that people want the experience economy. They want my specific experience as a retention marketing firm owner, not just people, but actually like corporate 500 Fortune 500 corporate companies. Okay. So it's not just like regular people. They're like, oh, I want to start a business, but like corporations are also in the experience economy while they're simultaneously, this is crazy, laying people off. They're saying we want fractional marketing officers to come in for retention for ads. Okay. I've been coming in contracted for ads consulting, revenue allocation, capital allocation, getting into the finance side of corporate consulting because I am in marketing and sales, which are very closely related to finance. And so I was just doing a consult last week, got the invoice approved, got everything approved. And it was just like, wow, I've done this pivot really interestingly enough into finance. Now, I've been a finance copywriter for a number of years, working with tax relief firms, banks out in San Francisco, personal finance, certified financial planners, retirement agencies, immigration agencies, all these types of things. But it's just different now that in the experience economy, it's like people don't really care, especially in corporate, if you have a degree. They're more so looking at your portfolio and experience and your public body of work. I'm very intentional about my public body of work. Like if you were to type in Tiffany Garside, you're going to see stuff that I have orchestrated, my blogs, podcasts I've done, AI summits I've done, relationships that I have in the business world, some of my expertise and experience. And that's not by accident. Okay, this is why I love search engine optimization, AEO, answer engine optimization, which is like AI answers, because AIs are now scouring the internet more than humans. Almost 70 to 75% of traffic online is not coming from humans anymore. Oh no, it's coming from AI. Yes, this is the AI evolution, the AI age. I'm going to break down my funnel in a couple of ways, and then I may go through my origin story so that you have the context behind how I built my business 10 years ago, okay? So my main lead source is typically Instagram, but that has changed dramatically over the last year. And this is why I always tell people, do not put all your eggs in one basket. I will always tell you, if you're a new entrepreneur, the best second thing that you can hire for besides yourself as the founder and CEO, get a marketing assistant. Get somebody that's an expert at sales and marketing, or it can be a marketing and sales coach, a consultant like I am. Get somebody else that's a number two for marketing and sales, because I do this all the time. That's always my first hire. And it's not somebody for graphics or like cutesy designs. No, it's copy. It's sales. It's how do I go through the sales process? How do I become better at sales? How do I become better at writing copy, which is literally the art of writing words to persuade someone to make a buying decision. Instagram since about 2020 was my bread and butter. But again, I'm going to go back on my origin story. Instagram being the bread and butter for all those years, I would post a couple of times a week, get clients easily. They book a call, close a deal. Very easy, especially in the pandemic. That was like that was really a thing. But with the AI age, people are finding me on LinkedIn. I will post on Instagram and I also post on LinkedIn. This is why you don't put all your eggs in one basket. I will post on Instagram and LinkedIn gets all the contracts, all the clients, all the deals closed. People reaching out to me on LinkedIn outbound because they have found my work. They have found an email marketing specialist that specializes in finance, in neuroscience, in psychology, in sales, in product management, and product marketing, and project management with tech companies. And they will seek me out, okay? And go through my portfolio, go through my team's portfolio, what we've done for clients, and say, hey, we want you to advise on this advisory board with this tech firm. Hey, this leading AI research lab wants you to advise and show how you create a product marketing strategy or a product management strategy, going through these consultations where they are paying very well for these. I think the only real downside is like when you're working with some of those corporate Fortune 500 companies, they will have that net 30, net 60. If you're unfamiliar in the business space, this is when I was a beginner. All of my mentors would tell me, hey, you're going to get paid on net 30. You're going to get paid on net 60, which is like 30 days after the contract's complete. 60 days after the contract's complete as a vendor, whether you have somebody working under you or not, whether you have AI that's assisting you with the process or not, or it's just you, getting paid on that sequence. The thing that I liked about Instagram is it is more of that storefront to where it's like, hey, payment up front. But this is the corporate side. The corporate side is much different than like the small business to business world. This is small business to big business world. Why? You may say, corporations, why would they be interested in somebody small like me? Well, let me tell you, they're interested because of your experience and because as a contractor who owns a business, they don't have to pay you $200K a year. They can pay you $7,000 a month. They can pay you $5,000 a month. They can pay you $3,000 a month. And they're like, oh, this is great. The work is getting done better. You're more effective and efficient at it because you're an entrepreneur and you have the reps. Because here's the thing, if you've worked as a W-2, especially if you're in marketing, you just don't have the reps of someone that's a freelance marketer. A freelance marketer is working with 10 to 20 different clients at a time if they're super successful. As they grow up in their tenure, they work with less clients and they start to be corporations, or maybe they're doing more YouTube podcast type of things and having Google as a client. But a W-2 employee who has only worked at the company for 3 years, for 5 years, just doesn't have those reps in, because data is the new gold. And when you think about the experience economy and the data economy, it's like, hey, I need somebody that's well versed and a lot of practices. I need somebody that's worked with the African DNA company, that's worked with a bank out in California, that's worked with tech companies out in California, but has also worked with real estate, e-commerce firms out in Chicago, and has also worked over there in Dubai and Israel. Like, they want something now that's different than the average W-2. And so if you are a W-2, it's okay, but I would tell you to go ahead and start your portfolio. Update your portfolio. If you're a lawyer, a finance consultant, because I'm seeing so many opportunities for you guys to come in, bring a product to the market. But in order to bring a product to the market, you first have to have a product management and marketing strategy, a roadmap showing why your product is the best, why vendors are going to need you and not the other folks, and how you're going to bring that product and transform somebody's business. Because everybody in the age of AI, every business, every corporation is thinking, I'm ready to invest tens and hundreds and thousands of dollars in AI. Can you help me figure out how to get it done? Now, you may hear get it done and think that you're going to build the AI from the ground up, and that is not getting it done. Getting it done in the age of AI looks like evaluating, creating rubrics and guidelines and guardrails, performing red team security, almost like cybersecurity in marketing. It's crazy that marketing has now integrated into cybersecurity and finance, but that's just the reality of the world that we live in, where we're now integrating and saying, okay, how can we create these guardrails? How can we write this copy better? This data is off. Let's not take it in this direction. I know Claude and ChatGPT say we should, but we're not going to do that. We're going to bring some human judgment here and let AI do things in a different area, lesser administration type of things, data entry, things like that. But we need a human on the ground in the corporation to come and think like a human, not just any human, but to think like a CEO. One of my favorite books, The CEO Next Door. If you have not read it, you should read it. I think I may reread it because it literally talks about how you can become the CEO next door that nobody realizes. You're in your suburban neighborhood, you mind your business, you go out to get your coffees, you deal with whatever you deal with, but you work on your own terms. You work from your house. You're a service provider. You're a top-notch consultant, and nobody even realizes it. Nobody realizes the companies you work with because you're very quiet about it. You're very succinct about it. You're not telling people all the things. You are just behind the scenes getting the work done, and they are pushing you through to those different rooms. You can unlock that same level of business and entrepreneurship if you join us in the State of the Diaspora Business Intel, or if you go to tiffanygarside.ads.me and schedule your undeniable 3-month hybrid consultation, where I'm writing your copy. I'm writing your go-to-market strategy. The same go-to-market strategies that I write for corporations can be applied to your business for much less than $7,000 per month, right? So hit the like button, share this with 10 people who need to hear it. And I want you to start thinking like that global consultant, like that CEO next door who's secretly like, okay, I want to get to the bag. I want to make sure I have everything together for this next phase coming into 2030, coming into the changes of the business world. I need to have my stuff together. This is what I have taught dozens of writers, dozens of alumni in my retired program, Black Educators Amplified. And now I'm doing one-to-one sophisticated hybrid programs like my VIP days, which I absolutely love. My clients absolutely love. The absolute highlight with the VIP days this year has been serving clients that are in South America. So they're Americans and African American immigrants who have actually expanded their businesses to places like Brazil and Panama. That has been one of my most fulfilling things to do this year because I am a global entrepreneur. I'm very much interested in doing business across the globe. And so it was very beautiful to kind of break into that South American market with immigrants and Americans who are there, who are owning their marketing agencies, owning their perimenopause high ticket agencies. And that even brings me to another tangent, which I will have to say for another video. Perimenopause is a huge multi-billion-dollar industry coming into 2030. If you're an ex-nurse, if you're an ex-doctor, if you are an ex-CNA, if you're somebody who has experience dealing with menopause and perimenopause, you can bring your product to market, and your product is your intensive, your program consulting with somebody who's 38 and they're dealing with cramping and fibroids, and they know that the doctors have given them the wrong thing. They're looking for herbs, they're looking for nutrition, they're looking for mind and body total wellness. They're looking for coaching and consulting to help them mentally through that process. How do I know? These have been my clients recently. I don't know why my clientele has recently been perimenopause service providers, nurses, doctors who are in specifically that area, but I'm loving it because it's just wonderful as a woman to also learn those things from my clients. That's, again, another beautiful thing about freelancing. You begin to learn so much about the different industries that you freelance in. You become so knowledgeable in different areas. So much so, one of my finance clients, she's a CPA. She was like, man, you sound like me. You know everything that I know. I'm like, yeah, I got to keep up, because when I write your emails, when I create your branding documents, it's a living guideline that should embody what you sound like as an entrepreneur in a more sophisticated way. Because listen, here at www.tiffygwrites.ai, you can follow me on Instagram as well. I make complex services and products easier to trust and easier to buy. If that's something that you need before 2027, check out the links in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.